Okay, let's spend the last few minutes of this program hat tipping to the Agniveers, some of India's youngest soldiers. I want to just, if we can just change our banner and look at the Agniveers now. As you know, we've seen Operation Sindoor deploy up to 3,000 Agniveers in different roles, right? And many of them were 20s, 21, some were younger than 20. In the last few days, we have reported on how at least three, and there could be more, but at least three that we have documented Agniveers who died in the line of duty. We're seeing the images of one of them, 21-year-old Akashdeep from Punjab. And his is the video where you can see his father very stoically saluting at his son's coffin, and there you see that image. It's really a stirring image. I want to talk a little bit about this, about whether it A, ends the debate on the Agniveer scheme, or B, it tells us that maybe now that we have seen the young heroism of these men in combat, we can do more for them. We should do more for them, because the mother of this young soldier, Akashdeep, she's saying in her own way, "Mere bete ko shahid ka darja." Now, the military doesn't actually have the nomenclature of shaheed, but it's her way of saying that my son should be recognized in an official way, in a formal way. It's an emotional response. I just want to talk a little bit about Agniveer. General Sharma, I'll start with you.
The
Gen-
Agniveers finished their first rotation end of next year to 2026, and the next rotation starts. So the first lot of people will retire in 2026. Now, the Shaheed Ka Darja is called battle casualty in our lingo, and that's what stands across there.
Yeah,
I've been writing, and I've also spoken on this issue. My point of view is simple: that in death there is no difference between a soldier and an Agniveer.
yeah,
The emoluments that a family gets in death should be equated exactly the same. You can't say Agniveer's family gets emoluments while the soldier who has died along with the Agniveer gets his family gets pension for life. That is a dichotomy which I think people, when it happens in villages and towns, people will be irked with it, that you are not doing you're not doing having balance on this issue. So that's one issue. Second is that there is a whatever you might say, I think that training has stood across, their cohesion in the unit has stood across. So all that cribbing that took place initially, saying that the training schedules are short and we will be able to train them, will be available for operation, I think at least in the army it is behind us. We have been able to train them fully. Third issue
yeah,
is that if
yeah,
next issue, and this is last one,
yeah.
if the next Sindoor 2 happens in, say, end of next year, for example, I'm saying, then those the 3,000, maybe 5,000 will fight at that time. And after having fought, we'll say, okay, we'll retain 25%. And the balance of you, well done, you fought well, you please go home. It would look very awkward for us to just part away with people who have fought a war with us and say you go across
Absolutely.
and you find ways. So the point here is, that guarantee for an employment post their tenure must be given. If I am not voicing opinion about their 4-year tenure or 50% retention or 75% retention, those issues are on the floor for last 2.5 years. What I'm just saying is that we need to consider the issue, saying that after 4 years, people who have fought with me shoulder to shoulder must get the same respect that he should get when he goes out and he says he gets, okay, he got a job. And I here will say private sector is not the answer. The point is the private sector, you work in private sector for so long, yeah, 40 years, you never know tomorrow morning, yeah, kal se mat aiye aap. So the
Correct.
private sector is a pink slip business, na. So you can't say the chap
Yeah,
joins private sector, he opened his arms and you can join it. You join up after 3 years, they say, okay, fine, you've done fantastic job, you go out. So then where does he go and fend for himself subsequently? So
yeah,
I think, we need to, 4 years, fine, but after 4 years, there has to be a serious consideration. Now that we have fought, people may not call it a war, you call skirmish, you can conflict, you can limited war, grammar of war is changed. I think we need to consider what we'll do to people who have fought a war and then go out.
No, I'm very grateful to you for saying this because, how can death be treated as differently? You die for your country in the line of duty. General Sharma making the point that there should be no difference in how you look at that. In employment, some guarantee of employment. Before I get Air Marshal General Dua to comment on this also, I just want to play out the comments made by the mother of Agniveer Akashdeep. He was only 21. There's heartbreaking images of her when he leaves the village to join the army. She goes to drop him to the bus, and इतना pride है दोनों में, माँ में भी बेटे में भी, and now she has to receive her son's coffin, and this is what Akashdeep's mother had to say.
ਮੇਰੇ ਬੱਚੇ ਨੂੰ ਸ਼ਹੀਦੀ ਸਨਮਾਨ ਮਿਲਿਆ ਜਾਵੇ। ਮੇਰੀ ਅੱਜ ਵੀ ਉਹੀ ਮੰਗ ਆ ਕਿ ਮੈਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਚਿਰ ਉਹਦੀਆਂ ਅਸਥੀਆਂ ਜਲ ਪ੍ਰਵਾਹ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰਾਂ। ਮੰਗ ਸਾਡੀ ਇਹ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਮੇਰੇ ਬੱਚੇ ਨੂੰ ਸ਼ਹੀਦੀ ਦਾ ਦਰਜਾ ਦਿੱਤਾ ਜਾਵੇ, ਮਾਨ ਸਨਮਾਨ ਦਿੱਤਾ ਜਾਵੇ ਤੇ ਮੇਰੇ ਛੋਟੇ ਬੇਟੇ ਨੂੰ ਨੌਕਰੀ ਦਿੱਤੀ ਜਾਵੇ, ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਮੇਰਾ ਇੱਕ ਬੇਟਾ ਰਹਿ ਗਿਆ, ਇੱਕ ਮੈਂ ਗਵਾ ਚੁੱਕੀ ਹਾਂ, ਮੈਂ ਦੂਸਰੇ ਨੂੰ ਨਹੀਂ ਗਵਾਉਣਾ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੀ, ਉਹ ਮੇਰੇ ਨੇੜੇ ਰਵੇ। ਇੱਕ ਅਗਨੀਵੀਰ ਸਕੀਮ ਬੰਦ ਕੀਤੀ ਜਾਵੇ, ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਬੱਚੇ ਬਹੁਤ ਡਰਦੇ ਇਸ ਗੱਲ ਤੋਂ ਕਿ ਦੇਖੋ ਵੀ ਇਹਨੂੰ ਕੀ ਮਿਲ ਗਿਆ ਵਿਚਾਰੇ ਨੂੰ 4 ਸਾਲਾਂ ਦੀ ਧਰਤੀ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ। ਇਹ ਅਗਨੀ ਸਕੀਰ, ਹਾਂਜੀ, ਇਹ ਅਗਨੀ ਸਕੀਰ ਬੰਦ ਕੀਤੀ ਜਾਵੇ।
So she, like, as I said, the military air marshal doesn't actually have this word called martyr. What she's saying is, my son died for India. Treat him the same way as you would treat another soldier who died for India. He's a hero. And of course, he's a hero. He is a hero. So it's brought back the focus on Agniveers. I think it's ended some of the debates. But as General Sharma has said, a little more tweaking of the scheme, a little more compassion for these young men, for their families who are receiving at the moment coffins of their children coming home. Marshal?
Barka, she spoke about izzat mere bete ko deni chahiye. Now, this is something army, I think all the defense services live on, and I think we totally appreciate what she is saying. It is not that the first time a 21-year-old has died in conflict at the border. It has happened during Kargil operation. We have seen, and we all know, you yourself have covered Major Batra's story. He was 24. And you were 3 years older than him that time when you were covering that story.
That's right. Ye dil mange more, as he said to me.
So it's not question of 21 or 24 or 23. It's question of equity. A soldier is a soldier, irrespective of what entry he or she is. So therefore, this differentiation is what I have been voicing against all throughout whenever we have spoken of Agniveer. And imagine, I mean, of course, with due respect to General Sharma's statement, which organization world over starts its intake with 75% rejection? Okay, at the end of 4th year, no matter how much of money you are given. That is number one. Secondly, this pension issue that General Sharma spoke about to the family is so very important to people who actually even today are willing to send their young ones to join services. This is going to be a biggest challenge as far as all the 3 services are concerned in future. So I think government is wise enough to understand this, and through this operation, whatever lessons are learned, I think this is one of the biggest area that I'm sure the experts in MOD and all the 3 services are putting their mind to today, because this is going to be a bigger one of the biggest issues other than procurement, acquisition, technology adoption, and development in the country, and so on and so forth, as a lesson of Operation Sindoor, to my mind.
Yeah. General Dua, I'll give you the last word. I think the debate is no longer over training, over even, the metal has been proven more than demonstrably. But I think both Air Marshal Sunil and General Sharma have made the point that in the battlefield, a soldier is a soldier. And, after this operation to say, ab 4 saal mein, we fought alongside in this battlefield, ab aap jaake naukri dhondo. Although there is a suggestion that the Central Armed Police Forces can absorb and so on, it's not guaranteed. It's not guaranteed, it's suggested. So, what are your thoughts on the Agniveer issue now that we have seen their valor in Operation Sindoor?
Subhaka, it has already been said before Operation Sindoor started that when the first cycle of Agniveers finishes, that is next year in 2026, the whole project or whole scheme will be, there will be a relook to the whole scheme. That has already been stated by the Defense Minister.
Yeah.
If anything, Operation Sindoor will only ensure that it happens that way, and soldiers' bravery will count for something. In whatever be the terms of services of different entries, but in a death in act or during operations certainly is a great equalizer. Everyone is equally an honorable supreme sacrifice. So I'm sure we will tweak it to the benefit of the Agniveers. I agree with you that there have to be better guarantees, whether we tweak the scheme to have more, increase the 25% to 50, or we increase the number of years from 4 to 6, or whatever happens is something that will remain to be seen by next year. But yes, I agree that we have to make sure that while their training, while their mettle has been proven, and there is no dearth of, the jazba is not lacking. When everything else is equal, they should get much better benefits than are being given now. And last sentence I want to end with the fact that you and I, everyone has been saying during operations we must sort of put everything aside and be united,
Yeah,
whether it's political party,
absolutely.
it's left, right, center, all that. And I think here also we must do that. We must sort of put our differences aside. We have differing opinions. A lot of people voice different
Yeah.
opinions on the scheme of Agniveer. It's a new thing that is coming up. It is going to be tweaked next year. With this operation, I am sure things will only turn out to be better than we would have expected.
I absolutely. I think it's fair to say that the Agniveers have demonstrated that they are next to none in either their passion, their jazba, their training, their valor. But as all three of you have said, hopefully, and I'm sure this operation will urge the right tweaks and the right relooks in the scheme, equity in the battlefield, security of some kind after 4 years. Those are the two most important things. We leave it there, gentlemen. Thank you so much, General Sharma, General Dua, Air Marshal Sunil, and to our audience, thank you and see you soon.